All right. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Gitteh. Awenyari.
Alhamdulillah.
Kambe konton na itoni konton la. Kam fama da nying nyada wala to baki. Adin de fama da jende. Ngale
Sorry.
ngale ite most of the time you are around when the fama da domanding do.
That's true.
So
Inimbar.
we can obenyari.
We cannot be jan nimboy sol le bijam do ko le bijam.
I know I can hear them in the background.
Yeah. Omar? Omar,
Alhamdulillah. It's a blessing to have family, man.
take the camera, take the phone to mommy. Go inside. Go. Yeah,
Nga
bijam
nga
yalo.
also demanding na dung isaje nga se kachanyin ku datino inshallah. Mole dung demando.
No problem.
Yeah. Nate bala biwo kan. Alsi akana ta dulado de nga jidas to jande bi kachabe kumala fo fore kachanyin be diala be cool bele mala dal mumbe hapun kanga na banko.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Abebe ko ela lebi.
Ha. Akumata la bangu kuo.
I'm telling you, man. Nkago these past 3 days, mbesire mbedia mol moela kumol be fankela, so nko nyindal fonse jite nati jang so I can also hear his own opinion on issues, so
I
but
know.
I'm excited. I'm happy that you are here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't thank you.
While people come, mbadanga jio samana yamo.
No, akumaya tabaki.
Mbadanga jio samana.
Akumaya tabaki. The fulale wente buluja. Gajika bafula. It's very important. Kadu bika jamun kana asto jandal. Fatul fanan jiberal. Fatul fanan alala jika botat. Ali lamoy. Kadu kaja nyimbe kumaya la bak. Normal la jika botat ali lamoy drong. Kumodol be sawun na la alta understand alta faham la bak. So jita kamuru nane nana ta nan drong. Kaja nyi continue inshallah. Alkanata adladon. Gal kafu nyadi radio station ol kafu. Don't touch that dial. Alfana, don't touch that dial. Jite canal, Jite canal. We have Ahmad Gitteh here. Ahmad Gitteh Mojamaya Long. Molo Muyaloko, he's one of the founding members of NPP. Popara, he's also trying to make a push for Fenko Nying for the Brikama Area Council chairmanship position. So Ahmad Gitteh,
Yes, sir.
Kambe kontona la LSTV platform auto jang. Ngalon ne LSTV anytime nge kumandi drum you show up, and it's not even now, since last year when LSTV was very small, not even well known. We've been gracious enough to always have you whenever we call upon you, and we thank you for that. And we are excited to have you on this platform today. But Janin Kajani Kumala, that like what you in Jubelal, alinyo content.
Ambe molbe kondona mini alon ko be jibero ke kanten kavali al nimbaral be dunia dauda Ahmad Gitteh once again manke lundanti on this platform coming Ibsini afonyame wala Ibrahim afonyame ndalta kana jang kabirin serum adun hani kabirin data Gambia fanang LSTV la studio ro I when they angamara sinya fula very, 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 interesting interview sort of with your staff. Sombe la moerla ninji berlal be kondone be dunia dauda.
Okay, baraka bake Mr. Gitteh. So ngakata nyindati. So ngalon nako, when kadon kela call follow back on Facebook, ngalon nako, you are currently interested or to vie for the Brikama Area Council chairmanship position. And Ngalon, the elections is going to be May of next year. It's just almost about 7 months away. So ite what's your level of preparation right now towards the upcoming elections? Albe level Jamal isaji munuma long isaji fanaga so koyema dal.
Thank you so much. I don't know which language. Maybe we are going to mix it.
English and Mandinka, yes.
Okay, so that's good. Mostly on social media, you have a lot of listeners from diverse ethno-linguistic
English might
backgrounds,
be
so mostly
preferred for them.
English.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and once again, thank you for having me on this platform. Our level of preparedness is ongoing. We are getting strengthened across the different areas of West Coast region. Um, um, I went home back in July, as you are aware. I spent 30 days in the Gambia, and I went there to build my team. And the team is built, and they are doing a fantastic work. And activities are ongoing. So I would say, in short, our level of preparedness is highly advanced. Yes,
So,
it's at an advanced level.
thank you for that. Ngalon na ko fanang, mo jama bije ngalon ne ka srifo sonko bijele, kuma mom fatila kuoto ka gibe whether he's still gonna run or not. But I understand that's not stopping you from still trying to seek for the opportunity. But also there are people muniyalonke mom funti nam follow muniyalonko mo jama ye londe ela cool londe but hanisa be deri na follow ye nukun na follow man na follow. And some of them are in NPP. So Srifo Sonko might not be your only impediment in trying to get to become a candidate for NPP. So ite mune mira wo mo la kol. Muni yalon ko be NPP le ani lafta lola bari man funti nan follow.
It's a democracy, and there are a set of rules. There is no rule that denies me along ko ite manyana fundila nang. There is no rule min fanan ko moeko enyandale fundina. So ngalong jamal bije mini along ko imam finti ngalong ko be wato le batuka wato min maybe min diata itole amira min right time to findinang most likely be all batuka. And then I ko this is the best time I come out right and the mola because ndenga belief is my candidature ndela law. I am reaching out across the board. No amanke ko menna party oda maldela mol jininkan but I'm reaching out to members, voters from across political divide ka make sure ko ne sambana ngana idea cell. And the other part of the thing is I believe I am confident that I am the right candidate. And because I am confident, ngam findindi nang ali for public scrutiny. Momo daji kolon na mi mambetea isa fono mole ni along momo jikalon na wala fen bije mi along ko ete amera ko render me unfit for public office. Ya sambana. If there has been anything in the history of corruption, mismanagement, whatever it is, but also it will give the opportunity to people mini alonko ntebe wolde represent la near carte ofanye along Jumalong Ahmad Gitteh. At least we have 1 year, they will have the opportunity Niko Ahmadi ko Jumalo Ahmad Gitteh don't sell a carte ofanye. But in time, they won't have enough of time to ask those questions. So that is democracy. Momanya na silala wala nam fintita nang ntelong Ahmadi. Mol se time osoto is a criticism case a nyinin karol ke about Gitteh dolu min lafte sita kiti mbe damen wala basori wuluta damen. They can find out about me. Adum fanang, we have policies and programs that we want to implement in another office or program will fanang. We talk to people about them in time to be given the opportunity will criticize, can program or jibe, whether they make sense or they do not make sense. If they feel they do not make sense, they can challenge us. And because we are for the people, we can look at some of those things and improve on ourselves. Is in another office, we will deliver the best of our programs for the common interest. So others might have some other reasons, like at party level, there has been some, of course, I mean, frictions here and there, but, we leave that for another minute. Omar, no.
So,
That is talking.
mo jamabe nying mo jamabe nying yada wala jube kan ibe interesting ibe kumol mum falan kana dun kumol nying kono le especially nying dindingol la saya mun keta Gambia jite bina dun na ko la badalun soddo man dinna rek ngala candidacy for follow after ngana dun wo kumo kono so jite sang ite Sirifo Sonko is a member of your party.
Yes.
And Sirifo Mafoko atemal la fi lola. Hanisa amon femfo. Or abe lola party lola. So ite as a member of the NPP, Sirifo Muneke, what is he doing wrong? Muyal tinako ite ko another leka ko nte Sirifo ite boja ntenga sila plaso to ngela plaso ta. Nge keta ngafo nya mandeke ko.
A lot of times, molka nyindulal nyininka. Niya jibendela policy lunga min formolie, the manifesto that we're working on. There are things many along condemn for many along right now imanke. But woman starts here for la watola. Wongalo neko kabire area council started. These are things me along they have mandates. Bari iman wol jibe. Follow. Birkama marseo mambetea. Area council right now imake. Again, it's an institution. Sirfo da matede. The entire council, aning council will fangolu, system on yimman birkamala situation jibe as the administrative capital of West Coast region. Ima jibe. Nia jibe fonyi kono. Kabo bulok kata fo fonyi danda dame. Ntenene mang nyama faira moto je mi alonka tata je kamola nyamol ko. I know they collect taxes from people, but area council service jumal nel sambo mafangola from Birikama Amansia Naket. Adunita environment jibe. Ndolnga jeleko. Area council nika environmental if they participate in anything me alongo is environmental alimita back. Adun dunia be tembo mindo sign climate change is real. Fonga na banko ni na ndandangol ni na environmental nge preserve for the future generations. Combo especially in West Coast, na environments are really getting disturbed. Kenya building other mining activities minuka kije, aning fishing, minuka kije factories, ibe environment otinyakan. Ndenga jele ko wo fanala wol manke fendi mi alonko they are addressed by area councils. Infrastructure, there are a lot of deficits, there are a lot of problems. Nina revenue collection, there are a lot of inefficiencies and loopholes in the efficiency of revenue collection. So ning wolumang strengthen Puriye service solta ye deliver to the community, to the people will be kole alabake. Sonde ngajelo ko there are a lot of things since minu keno mini alonko imantara keka. Not necessarily Sirifo as an individual. Personally, I don't want to go into that. Coming personally at Sirifo's level. But if you're a journalist, you look at the environment, Yajibe, you know, even within the party, you would realize for Sirifo to have a chance for us, Pura Ganye Kodeke West Coast will be very, very difficult. Circumstances will be nyamen sainteng abe kole ala pura ganye. Adu ninto laftan na party ola, strength le maintain na purna party otanyado. We have to, of course, make a choice between who is going to win overwhelmingly and unite the party and strengthen it from all, other parties. Or an individual, me alone, we have 10%, 15% chances of making it through against the opponents.
Okay, so I understand what you meant, when you say that. So you don't have to actually say the words, but I fathom what you're trying to say. So now, Mr. Gitteh, my next question is this going to be, I have two more questions regarding your candidacy.
Go for three. Well,
Make it,
because this is me personally. So
okay.
if we spend the whole day talking about my candidate, you will condemn back.
Problem, but towards the end, we will come back to your candidacy. No problem, inshallah.
Yeah.
So, Sila, is it a week ago or so? The CA came back, along Dr. Cesar Lapatiti. They are forming an alliance with the NPP, to help the NPP this coming mayoral and chairmanship elections. And a lot of people are saying that why didn't the CA, form an alliance sooner? So, and a lot of people are speculating, and the journalist did ask Dr. Caesar this question, but he said it was a premature question. That is it that he's interested in becoming the chairman of Brikama Area Council under NPP? Is that why he is trying to coalesce with the NPP at this point in time? If that's the case, Ite, how would that impact your chances within the party? Because he's the
So
new,
there are a lot of problems here, and I think NPP knows that more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
As a political strategist, a young politician, me along, I believe ko nka sile nga kuo jibe sa embe dameng nga mezo alala de maroto nga miraje hana manke 100% bari it likely is possible to come to pass. Now NPP has a problem with its base. We won, massively during presidential election.
Okay.
That support base dissipated during parliament election for various reasons. Now, we want our party's image back in terms of strength and in terms of numbers. And we want to maintain this to be able to, going forward, win elections, subsequent elections. Now, we are into alliance already with political parties like PPP, NCP, APRC, key among them, APRC. And we know that APRC, we've worked way before the elections. They supported us. And in return, APRC will also want to keep its party's existence. And if you want to do that, you probably will want to ask for some support in terms of alliances. Hey, it's local government election. That's loud. That's loud. That's why I say you go inside. Daddy is talking on this, I am talking loud. It's okay. It's okay. Daddy is talking to somebody. Daddy is talking to uncle, okay? Uncle is also talking to me. All right. So go to your brother. Okay. It's okay now. It's okay, Umar. Go inside and play. So, APRC, if you bring Dr. Cisse, that's fine. If you want to put Dr. Cisse as chairman of Brikama Area Council from a political party, what would you do with APRC? Where would you give them if they demand? Because they show a bigger partner than the Dr. Cisse that just came. I'm giving you an example. I'm not saying this is what they are going to do. If APRC demand, if Dr. Caesar comes and you give him Brikama Area Council, if APRC demands, you should give APRC. But the biggest problem here is NPP should not, and I don't think it will, for political interest, give or leave Banjul, KMC, and West Coast for any partner. If you want to succeed as a party, you want to continue strengthening your base, especially a ruling party, you cannot give West Coast to anyone. Whether you are in alliance, whether you are in partnership, West Coast is a no-go area for a partner. KMC is a no-go area. These are very critical places for an incumbent. Banjul is very symbolic, but not as critical. So if you give that place to Dr. Cisse, with all due respect to Dr. Cisse, whatever work he's going to do, we don't know. People can go into alliance today and just mess up the following day. Remember, Talib Bensouda, Rocky Law, Landin Sane, the guy in Basse, were all with us, the same party, UDP. Today, Adama Barrow would have wished that he had Rocky Law. He would have wished that Talib were with us. He would have wished that Landing Sane is with us. Dr. Cisse has a political party. He has not defected to come to NPP and become NPP member. He has a party and is leading that party with NPP in partnership. If you put him there, you put Citizens Alliance chairman, and you have no guarantee whatsoever that when Dr. Cisse's position is strengthened in West Coast, he is going to still remain with you in 2026 to support whatever you want. I think if I were NPP leadership, I would not do that, and I will not do it for KMC. At personal level, I am not bothered if Dr. Cisse comes to West Coast or not. I am not bothered because I know the work I have done, and I'm a young man, and I keep telling people this. I have nothing to lose when I get into politics right now and lose an election. I am not yet 40. I have about 3 years to become 40 years old. So I have so many years to put my ability, my whatever to test. So I am not bothered. I welcome Dr. Cisse and I love him. He's a big brother. We speak all the time. And I welcome his coming to NPP. But I don't also think Dr. Cisse as a person is interested in becoming a candidate for West Coast region. All these are very highly possible. I don't think NPP will do, number one, because APRC might have an issue with it because they want West Coast. I don't know how that is going to end. But the other reason is, I don't think NPP should risk that because you can be in an alliance today. Somebody, you give them the opportunity to strengthen their base because they are in position. They can shift their allegiance. That is politics. It happens every day, every minute. I don't think they should. And the third reason is, I don't think Dr. Cisse is interested. So I'm not bothered.
So, what are your thoughts on NPP and the CA alliance? The way it was formed, there has been a lot of denials, and all of a sudden, they came and met with the president and they made the announcement. What are your thoughts? Is it something viable or what is it?
So here's the thing. I mean, I am NPP member. In politics, interest is very important. Doctors coming is very symbolic. How big is CA? I'm not sure. I cannot say that. How big is CA's party? How strong is CA's base? I don't know. But I know Doctor is a leader of a political party, a young man with a lot of interest in the well-being of the Gambia as a country. If he joins us, that's amazing. Join us. It's time to work, as the president would say. The door is open for all the oppositions to join us, and let's work. So he's coming as a member of the National People's Party. That is highly welcome.
All right, thank you. One more question. I saw on What's on Gambia earlier today, and it's all talking about West Coast because this incident happened, I think, in Cambridge area. So Narek has a pit over there where Ilanying Fenko burnt oil, and they claim it's almost about 3 to 4 meters deep. And there's this kid that was playing football called Modu that, Ajolontaje and, right now, Yaka Bantale. So for things like that in your area, and I understand it's not the only pit, there's another one that's also close to the airport area. And animal sol ka fa jele because ntalla ma fa wala min nka fenko ngi duwol jele lundolo samanda wulta na soko do benen duwol long and the neighborhood will be benen duwol long, and because of that you know, a lot of people as it's a health concern, basically, you know, and you know, if you take over as chairman of Brikama Area Council, that's going to be under your purview. So, what's your thought on what happened in Cambodia, and what would be a permanent solution to fix that? You know, if you were.
No, I mean, these are like basics from what Watson Gambia said. According to the father of the deceased, they dug a pit, a kind of well, where whatever rubbish or thing goes in. It's not fenced. That is a very serious safety hazard. It's a very big negligence, and somebody has to be accounted or accountable to those kinds of stuff. Itela kolon sinna ngajele ni kurang soto da dulato ni kurang ye transformer ke dulato. What you do a lot of times nin generator be dulalto mol ika jetale ya sansam ye saino kije saman sewol minu ba fala mole ko alkana na jande jan denjale bi jang ni nata jang aka mo faale aka mo torale aka mo janile womu ñantoleti pour molu be wolong adu womu wo fanamu responsibility leti womu do quality nawekie wala institution mimbe marali wala pour ka o sifak ni tade kolon si kanyamo fayje mol nen kata o ma fa wala hani mo bukataje e nyanda taman sew kala je ni din ka ba ting mol la sate o kono e nyanda leje sansa ni manje sansang dindingol tade bulata je ni tade ye samba kiti wala be dula ninte keda Brikama area council la chairman oti. Of course, there are a lot more pressing issues. Mini alonko mbe jibela. Of course, this is one of them. Ji kuwa famu problem multi West Coast. Adum nkam nyimfomole ntolla jio ikawala samba banjul nkol ka West Coast jio le mi. Tankol ka bo West Coast le. Serakunda KMC ila jio jama ka bo West Coast. Bari ntolla West Coast mol bije jio bukasoto. Ni data jaba nyolto yundu mu nyolto weli ngara nyolto wato do mol kata kare mume e manjio sore la pombol kon nawe ka jio bondi West Coast region e kata ka samba banjul e ka jio samba KMC ndolko we are going to seriously look into that because jio ka boy yale na jiolom na bank of course nationally that's important but it coming this is law of natural justice. Ita jio bon lante andela bunko na jio kaboto ika bondi ika di modo lante min fon ya longa beya min do ben fal ngo nyanda stop that. We have a lot to look at. You know, the Local Government Act fund is a terrible document. Jamele adada ayadada in a way me alonko local governments have no power, absolutely no power. So wofanaye local governments all batan lentenga min for dumbe min kelolo nyindi ko ni Local Government Act nintanata whenever or not whenever if I get the chance to be elected into that office dipitel min bebe West Coast kabirim fonyila lulo kana kombola warawulo tannim fula West Coast we have 12 National Assembly members. We will involve them na area council feo fembe tama kanje. We'll involve them in our committees. They'll be part of our sittings near Diamu, near Kacha, near Kumanga itandila ko kuolel bekeri minimum betea ye mako yeta parliament ye kaitol nin lua jamal falimini alon koy mambetea. They are terrible. Isajeno local governments as engines of development, because that is the essence of the existence of local governments. They serve as engines of development. Developed, they have a devolution, they have decentralized development. Nima woke, banko bukatano nyat. So those essences must be captured and B, giving priority in the policy and national legal documents. Puriye local government also power and authority to be able to raise fund, generate fund, embark on development programs. So ndela ninata office school mimboko wolu coming be minkata the new okay. Now we will have a serious problem because they have to compensate this young man. But at least maybe if ante futalot, ndefana maybe we'll have a committee in our council mini alonko. They will be there purposely to monitor areas mini alonko central government and development areas solelmu, but they have potentials to cause disaster.
Okay, thank you so much.
They have potentials.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you. But what will be that? And I know you don't have much time. So silang left nga diamu nga dung kuol kono ngalone this past week munketa Gambia about this fake syrup mumbe caring iko dinding 66 lefata. You know, mandika counter iko tan woro ni woro. Dinding tan woro ni woro. And say sabala fajele iko tan woro ni koronto, which is 69. Dindingol banta because of this fake syrup. So government funded an announcement, okay. But prior to us getting into that, I would like to play this 2-minute video to kind of give you some background and context on it, and then okay. 1 second.
No problem.
Probably been hearing about the death of 66 children in the Gambia linked to cough syrups.
WHO recommends all countries detect and remove these products from circulation to prevent further harm to patients.
So what do we know so far? In July 2022, the Gambian authorities discovered an increase of cases in acute kidney injuries among children. But it's only after sending samples to labs in Senegal and in Ghana that they discovered the link with these 4 cough syrups. So what's in these cough syrups? According to the WHO, the contaminated syrups contain 2 toxic products, one usually used as a solvent and the other one as an antifreeze agent. The toxic products are colorless and almost odorless, which makes it difficult to detect. Only an investigation will determine how these toxic products ended up in the cough syrups. Speaking of which, the cough syrup were made in India, where the health authorities have announced the launch of an investigation.
तो इसके सैंपल लेके जो सेंट्रल ड्रग लेबोरेटरी है कैलकाटा में वहां पर सैंपल भेजे गए वहां से रिपोर्ट आने के बाद अगर कोई चीज गलत हुई तो बहुत सख्त कार्रवाई करी जाएगी.
India produces a third of the world's medicine, usually in the form of generic drugs. And for Maiden Pharmaceuticals, the producer of the contaminated cough syrups, Africa is one of its main markets. Back in the Gambia, the government has banned the sale of the contaminated cough syrups. The country has launched an urgent door-to-door campaign to collect the contaminated products. The question now is to know if the contaminated cough syrups have been distributed in other countries in the region. How can you protect your children? Check if you have any of these products at home. And if you do not use them. If your children have symptoms such as diarrhea or headache, seek the advice of a healthcare professional.
All right, so Mr. Gitteh, this was a report by the BBC Africa, and so it was comprehensive and it gave us insight on what's happening. So based on the government, even the president came out and spoke. And what's your assessment on how the government is handling this fake syrup saga since it started to now on the PR aspect of it? And, what's your assessment?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, let me extend our sincere and heartfelt condolences to all those that lost loved ones, and those that perhaps are on the way, because as you have said, we had 66 as of day before. And now, I mean, yesterday, the Minister of Health said 3 more people died. And I'm sure there are other children that are currently being admitted with similar conditions at RVTH. So it's a devastating occurrence. It's regrettable, but it's also avoidable. Well, the problem, I mean, we've heard from the start was information to the public was a little bit not forthcoming. I know there was a press release that was made when the ministry said it detected a trend that they felt was responsible and could be as a result of a paracetamol that was being administered to these children. They made, I mean, an announcement that people stop it, and it went quiet for a bit. But then yesterday they came out, they said there was an investigation, which was why that happened. And WHO made an announcement. They've made, a press conference telling the world about what's happening. I don't know why WHO had to force give a warning publicly before the Gambia. I don't know. I mean, we still are on, going, and we don't know what's happening. But generally, this is very sad. And the message that came, especially from the president, I mean, the writers of the speech, you know, made some very big mistakes. The statement was written in a way that actually, as you've seen, made people a lot more angry than, before the statement was made. And I've had a few things with the statement that was made. But then, as they would have realized, the government came out again, this time with press release to tell the country about a more stringent and a stricter measures that were being taken. And the health minister came to explain further and to apologize for some of the messages that were put into the statement that the president read the previous day. It's sad, it's very sad. It's not supposed to happen. Someone, in my view, should be held accountable, and people should be punished for this kind of greed, this kind of irresponsibility, this kind of behavior that is putting the lives of our children, our future generations to terrible destruction. So I think it's very sad. By the way, my own niece, 1 year, I think 1 year 3 months, I mean, was also a victim. My senior brother, the same mom and dad, lost a daughter to it. And it's sad. It's a very sad situation for all of us.
My condolences to you and your family. Man. Sorry for that. So you did mention something about speechwriters, and that brings me to this next video on. I have an excerpt on what the president said here. Let me play that real quick.
Yeah.
The Gambia. I must state that the child mortality figure of 66 is not at much variance with the recorded data for similar periods in the past. This notwithstanding, my government remains deeply concerned about every death in the country, as well as all causes of premature deaths.
All right, so he did mention the variants, and when you mentioned my understanding of English, but Nico variants, to me, what difference, like 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 is the variance, stuff like that. That's my understanding. Also, you can also use variance when trying to do comparative analysis, between one period to another. So a lot of people, and he mentioned that covariance pneumonia would, when you compare the mortality rates, child mortality rates right now and previous years. But also he did say something after that, coming regardless of that, his government, is doing what needs to be done. But what a lot of people took offense to, Wolong, he shouldn't have made a comparison to anything. Just hit the facts and keep moving. But you also made a point right now, Kafuko, the speech writers, maybe made a mistake somewhere. Should we blame the speech writers or should we blame the president?
It's both. It's both, of course. I mean, but in this case, let's give it to the speech writers. Sometimes these are very difficult and very complex situations, but we simplify them. All right. I mean, okay. In every situation, for politicians, there are political points that can be scored from it. And there are, of course, benefits you can get from every situation in life. I think if I were the speech writer of the president's speech, first and foremost, I would send my condolences to the people, declare 2 days or 3 days of national mourning for this kind of a disaster, and immediately instruct or decree that the medical whatever control agency, is it MCA, medical control agency or drug control agency, board has to be dissolved. I would have asked that the pharmacy licenses of those that are involved be banned, and I would have asked or instructed the police to immediately invite these people for questioning. These are things I'm going to do. Personally, I would fire my health minister. No matter how great he is, no matter how good he is, there is what we call an oversight responsibility in a corporate world, in a governance world. I mean, if there is 100% or at least 80% efficiency, something as terrible as this wouldn't have happened. Ministers have oversight responsibility in your ministry, just like the president, directors, and Carlos have oversight responsibilities. You cannot have people bring in drugs and those drugs be in the country for such a long time and not be detected. Hundreds of thousands of tons, if not thousands of tons, perhaps thousands of tons of this particular drug is in the country. It's distributed all over. Oversight responsibility demands that at least you know what is going on. You have to. If you don't know what is going on in your institution, if you don't know what is going on in your ministry, you have an inefficiency. There's a problem with your efficiency in terms of oversight responsibility. So politically, the president would have gained a lot if he fired his minister. A lot of people are not happy. There has been a lot of dissatisfaction with it, but firing them, the announced state of mourning, 3 days mourning for these angels, and talk about compensation. Families are going to be compensated. We cannot compromise, and that's it. It's going to be everybody. Oh my God, he has done it. He has done. Look, it doesn't have to be the FACO, Kari Atea Fengela. But the mistakes that happened was that the statement that was delivered first, of course, condolences was given. People that are responsible, health workers, the health ministry was commended in that statement for doing an amazing job. The health ministry, health officials are commended in that statement. Now that is contradictory. because that is where the problem is. It doesn't matter whether the minister does it or not. Somebody in that health sector is responsible. Somebody in that health sector, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a pharmacist, whether it's a director, whether it's an accountant, somebody in the health sector is responsible. If you commend that institution, there is a problem with that statement. And I think Gambians reacted in the right way, and I'm glad they understood. Again, in a situation like this, you are in the US. Omar, don't do that. We have several shootings in the US. Look at the patterns of speeches. Politicians are always blamed for what happened. Never would you hear a political leader in the US make a comparative analysis in the face of a disaster. You don't do it. There may be a shooting where 11 people became victims, but there was a shooting where 50 people got killed. A leader will never make comparative analysis in a disastrous situation. You don't do that. That is a monumental failure on the side of the speech writers. And I know that the speech must have come from the health sector, and of course they will be saving themselves. But I blame the president as well. If I have a speech of that nature, the moment you bring that to my table as a head of state in that situation, I'll fire you. In fact, you'll go to jail. You bring me a speech of that kind to do a comparative analysis of a situation as dead, and in fact, that comparative analysis was not correct. You know, Gambia, people die in Gambia, for example. Every year we have 1,000 people or 2,000 people that die. If somebody pick a gun and kill 50 people, you cannot come and tell me last year 2,000 Gambians died, so today 50 people died. You compare that? No. Children have been dying, maternal mortality. That child mortality has been happening, but there has never been a case reported of children poisoning. They are being poisoned. Somebody brought poison illegally into the country using a legal license under a ministry. Somebody brought medicines that are poisonous. They brought it. There's a ministry's institution that has a responsibility of making sure you have no option. There is no option. There is no compromise. The moment you agree that I'm a member of the medical control agency, my job is to make sure any drug that comes into this country, it is our job to make sure it's correct. That is your role. That is your responsibility. When those drugs come into the country, they kill human beings. That has never happened. I have never seen that happen. Drugs, contaminated, poisonous drugs coming in, and they are given to children. Prescriptions are made by health care personnel, doctors, nurses. Go and buy paracetamol, go and buy this and this. They directed these people. Of course, in the Gambia, sometimes people go to pharmacies. My child is sick. They have diarrhea. They have this. They have coughing problem, and people buy. But the fact that that happens, comparative analysis is the worst that should happen. And I think they've realized that that happened, and they had corrected it, because Dr. Samate came out to say that it was not meant the way it was perceived, but definitely the way people perceive it was the right way to perceive it. You don't do comparative analysis in the face of a disaster. You don't do that. You don't. It does not happen. So I believe that was bad. And who would I blame? Both sides. The president speaks English. If he does not understand, if he did not understand, he looked at it, let him call the experts. Sometimes that's important. And I've always told this to one of his ministers. In fact, Justice Minister, I told him, sir, if I were the president, Adam Barrow, I would never read a speech without calling Dauda Jallo, the Justice Minister, who knows at least language. legal ramifications, to have these matters looked at, read over and over and over and over before the president is allowed to read them. Because it's important. Otherwise, these are some of the things that it might cause. Not everybody is as sincere as everyone else. And when there is a problem, it is only natural that human beings want to save themselves. So that I would have loved, and I would have expected that the president was going to say, comparative analysis here. No. People died. I don't care about what happened yesterday. This is under me. I've never seen this. Children are poisoned. And I'm not talking about what happened last year. Somebody has to pay the price. Let's declare state of 3 days of national mourning. Let's send condolences. Let's prepare a package for families, and let's dissolve the medical control agency at, is it MC? I don't know whether it's that.
Yeah,
And let's do this. No compromise.
So Gitteh, thank you so much for that. So
Yes.
we've seen a lot of issues happen to Gambia before, and the president will set up commissions, and on issues they can be investigated by people, but instead of being just investigated, we'll spend taxpayers' money on commissions, and after those commissions are established, they go through the course of the commission, recommendations get made, and nothing comes out of it. So, which is just bleeding of taxpayer resources. And so, in this situation now, do you foresee another commission coming into play? And if a commission is established, do you think the Gambians, should trust that?
I don't think the president needs to set up a commission. Again, I am saying if I were in the position of the president, I think this is a good example for him. He has been very lenient, and governance, let me tell you this. The president as a person is an amazing person. Let nobody, even say anything otherwise. And this is between me and Allah. But there are things that you have to draw the line. This is where it must stop. And it has to stop. You don't need a commission. You have a very strong police, a very strong intelligence that you can use to investigate this. Gambia is a very small country. Go after the people who have license. How many Gambians have license in pharmacy? It's perhaps not up to 300 people, or it's not up to 1,000 people. Getting that from record is very easy.
About 30 or 31, I'm not sure. What's on Gambia?
Exactly. So you don't need any commission for this. We know WHO has helped us. They know this is poisonous. How did we allow a medicine from a company that has so many shady, histories? How could we not? A whole country importing medicine of that importance from a factory without any background checks. That is really serious. And I was looking at it from there is just a report that I was looking at, and this company has so many problems. I don't know, in Thailand, in India itself, these countries, even with WHO, it has a lot of issues with WHO. This company is a terrible company. So
yeah,
the government.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Government. President Barrow does not need to do any, commission setting up. We know what happened. People into the press release that was made, after his speech, made mention of the invitation of those concerned to the police, and the police are doing the investigation. They are, constituting a high power delegation to go meet the families of the bereaved or the deceased, and they also, revoking the license of the individual that is involved in getting these drugs into the country. And I think there is a bigger problem that, of course, in his original speech, he mentioned the collaboration between the Ministry of Health, Ministry of and Ministry of Justice to look into the legalities, the policies and documents, around this medicine and all those. And I think that is important. There is a problem. If you make me a referee and at the same time a player, there is a problem. People are giving out their licenses to people. If you give me your license, I'm your partner. If I bring a drug and you are paying me $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a month for my license, even if I commit criminal act, you might ask me to stop it, but you will not take me to court. You will not report me to authorities, and that is a huge problem. There is a serious conflict of interest in this matter, and I think from the legal perspective, that's a step in the right direction that the president is doing. The Minister of Justice and the Minister of Health, or the two ministries, are going to look into some of these things, and we do corrections and perhaps move forward to make sure that disasters like this never happen.
Yes, Gitteh, thank you so much for that. So, Madam Infola, Gambia kita bankol te muyalon ko kujamal be kikanden tebe non Gambia jele for almost 2 months. And I listen to people talk and people online. And I understand ko Gambia, sometimes we are emotional beings, and a lot of people don't think for themselves. It's a lot of people that just allow themselves to be carried away by groupthink. You say, maybe Gitteh move for Modo move for it all, they form their own opinions based on what other people said, instead of self-analyzing and trying to come up with their own opinions. So nka modol fana moy kuma jamal be fukan Gambia iba fukan hani ya jame murunta nan Gambia fa wala fisiara momu yalon ko ay ku jamake Gambia fo mol nga kata nga bay nga baro natinan. If people are crying for that same man nga Mumbai nko mun mandia mole ala kekol mandia mole purwoy murunna ite from ngalone, you are one of those people that helped Barrow to be re-elected. Do you still believe in
go use the laptop. Go mommy get the laptop. Yes, sorry.
Okay, guys. No, my question was based on all what's happening in the country, and it's a lot of mistakes that come from the part of the government, and mistakes that a lot of people tend to, cover the president. For example, try to shield him of responsibility. For example, Nico Kumako, okay, they say the speech writers, stuff like that. In my own opinion, the buck stops with me. Nita mukorda tioti. Itafoka ndingole speech safe nyakunga nyimfo. Itele nyanta jibela okay ye ndingole kumol jibe musafe. Then after I realize okay nyim bukulte manyana mumfola. So but in a lot of cases, or sometimes people will say president wala advise solema advise school. But in the to be in that position of leadership, you can listen to counsel from any side. You can have 30 people advising you, but in the end, after you hear their versions, you form your own opinion based on Itala experiences and also based on your level of knowledge and your level of understanding of the issues. But in Gambia, a lot of times people tend to shield the president of responsibility and blame the people around him when the buck stops with the president. So based on all of that, do you still believe in the president's leadership? Can he still, sail this boat to where it needs to go?
Thank you very much for that question. Very important, sometimes very critical and sensitive. But as you've always known, I try as much as I can to be as sincere and as truthful as I am, regardless of who is involved and who is affected. From 2016 to 2021, I've always believed that the president was learning on the job. And there has been very strong partners and forces that he shared government with. And that compromises were really necessary to get us out of this. And the moment we sail out and we succeed in getting, an absolute individual government, that is the president's own party, absolute power, no coalition, nothing of that sort, he has to assert his authority and be in charge and make sure that his vision, what he wants for the country and he believes in, happens, whether that is right or wrong. The difference between Jammeh and Barrow is that when Jammeh when he forms an opinion, he gets advice. But when Jammeh believes in something, let it be wrong, let it be the worst thing in the world, he will stamp his foot and make sure that that happens, comes what may. He has that authority and he makes sure he's in control. Barrow is a very, very, very consultative leader, coupled with a very soft personality. And when you have this, a lot of times decision making is a problem, especially when you are very consultative. You don't get all of it right. But if you try to be so lenient and be so careful that you want everything to be perfect, you always run into a problem. Not all these ministers and politicians that are around you are good people. Not every educated person is a good person. And a lot of times, Gambians in positions are not very honest. They want to make you believe that you are the best. Whatever opinions that comes from you is the best. If things come to you that does not suit their interest, there is always a problem, because they are going to sway you and cajole you and tell you stuff to believe in otherwise. And before you know, you have a problem. The president said one thing that I would love to remind him if he would ever have chance to this. And that was, na diata, ibafala baro. Na kuyata, ibafala telom. Na tinyata, ibafala telom. Adate son na tinya. Adu nyinan tonyat. Gambia no mumo mane balt. Mbina, I'll come. I'll still come. Gambia no mane that. Keba doya fonye. Adu mbadungo for man nega kaul. Which is the naked truth. Adama dimolu, near responsibility surrounding alatema, hakilo to back. Jaman labang molto. You see, mo jaman lelbe baro bala. Minu nin Sadauda Jabarayak. They were in Sadauda's government. Abe diare wol dolu nin Sadauda ko emben fonyole be fangol fala. Ya jamenata, they don't even care about Sadauda. Inin sa ya jamek, ya jamenin dol nat. Wol dolu ni ya ko embita ay kafe inni lafta ngam fang fam ben fang falele. Ye palasol soto, ye palasol enjoy, ya jametata. Inaman kuya inam femman ke bar kabira tata yenya kasala binim barolom yaya bala problemo min kono, to hell with him. They don't care. Adam Baro should know ko samana bota je na koleata bi ka fa ya jamele mol fade sidinja henana National Assembly member mati, deputy speaker Fabakar henana speaker le mati. We have energy minister. We have information minister. These were staunch supporters of Yaya Jammeh. A lot of them. Yaya left until Yaya bitalu minna inabe kukilik. But atata B, they don't care. Yabe minkono, they don't care. And that is what is going to happen. Nimbaro botaje. Niwobe kerike hakilo to back. I think Adam Barola Fenko ala softness, ala Sonia can be his own undoing. Aba affect la back, because Neman decisive as a leader, Iman assertive with your authority. Masibo bekelela, masibo be soron. Iya jela mo be coming for. Corruption has become very rampant in that country. In a lot of different ways. This nyimola fa dinningola nyimfa is one case. Ni ya jamelo nyindi ni nyimfonu, ya jamere nyimfai. whether it's going to be for political achievement. Ninyim for the tell you minister of Ninyim Molu Ibebe jail. They will all be in jail. Ibebe, teni better Ibebe surrounding. So I think President Barrow has to be careful of that. Gambian only mandate the Atella. So to me, the box stops at him. You have a point, Ikadandame. Learning on the job also has a limit. Barrow has no excuse about learning on the job. He has no excuse about not having an experience. He has absolute authority to appoint people. He has absolute authority to fire people that he has appointed. There are Gambians willing to work with him. Nimol mandoko ke bay. Adum ya stop wato do. Ikela moy mo la dama fundi ye first hand information so ni on the Gambian will be mislead la. What will do in the ministry? Canada minister for minister I mean for that matter. No so me along come lowest class in the hospital. Try to have telephone conversations with them. Nima okay Gambiano mbetembo mindoteng. Gambia is a very complex society. It's a very, very bad society as well. More bail corrupter. It's terrible. Adun the most corrupt person will pretend to be the best individual in the world. It only be how corruption is dangerous. Corruption is they are the most corrupt people in the world. We are all culpable of that. But again, the other problem is dunia be kolari mansa kundal tote diaring dunia. Just observe the midterm election in the US. The Democrats might have a serious problem because dunia lomot Canada we already have a minority government. Trudeau has minority government. A lot of governments will lose elections because dunia be kolada and people don't care. Dunia kolada. You must prefer a solution. That is what people do. Find a solution. Give us a solution. That is what people care about. So Niman law at that time and be proactive with talking to people. You have a problem. Ya jame barono wola back. Wati. Abebanjul Loptano, for example. He has visited that place. Nteni ya dame dama. Kabo State House, Kadao Loptano. Nga remember sinya taninkili. I remember that. Albert State House, 5 o'clock sita ajita, ala kurtu jangdum, ala military boot ala kodo fenge, akoye ngafind. Sometimes PPO, the principal protection officer, moleka ninimboro alkata ikata kinyola le ye radio call ke kaeko Sarah Bravo. All station Sarah Bravo. More be dunyot. Military alone kamif. I tell of Tanoto. Akataje afanga ita dum ay dulal jibe ay masimol jibe ay ta stol kono ay ta larangol kono sometimes ay ta military campoto ay ta na freda soldier la campoto ay duila bun kono. One of the reasons wala atina lantom bombay. I'll give you an example. Lundole mbijere ka fundida. I was a reporter at State House. Ya jamme wultare ka fundida. Moma ala kadadame. Moto borre ko akoy ko instruction odi Yundum Barracks. Lantombo was chief of staff. Lantombo is listening. Ndebe moto kono mfanabe convoy kono because I was attached at State House. Alkataje. This was a weekend. Fat atana Lantom Mombe Airport. He was traveling for a conference. Janna be tala yaja metada Yundum Barracks. Sojarol kena bunga min kono. Imala fa atada me wotede. Kafoko protocol ilafta adunda me woltom. Afan be nyato. Adunda sojarol la bunga kono kai ponsol jibe. Akoy Lantombo kumanda bedawda. Lantombo had to come. Alatamo bayaka look at what is it? Wala abandon kam television. I was the reporter. I'm sure those things are online. So atada itandala. How could these people how could these people sleep in these beds? Some died at Gambia College. There are people there. So Barrow has the biggest problem because it is a democracy. And the price against crime is not as high as under a dictatorship. Yaya Jammeh can pick you and send you to jail for 10 years. Nobody dare speak. Barrow cannot do that. But you have to be a lot more. proactive. Sometimes shoot about fundieta rope tanodo, tai tiberoke. Sometimes doctor will better from the state house. Go to any pharmacy. Tai pharmacy mol jibe. Sometimes he tired droko sang, baro fango, fundi, ta karaba pharmacy, droko sai fango. Ya foko ya sai fango le. Niya sai pareda. Afoila doctor of member state house. Let's send this to WHO. Najibe, whether this drug actually, minister does not have to know. Do it. Ni one thing. Ibe fala atare me bade. That is what Gambians will do. And I think Barrow is very comfortable with the people he has appointed. He is very comfortable with people that are giving him information. And that will cause him disastrously. That I can say with all honesty. Kala mola doida kanala mola mansakunda kono Gambia don't trust anybody. Ini edoku for I monitor ko intelligence ka Gambian will monitor nyame citizens. I monitor them. If you don't, you have a problem.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Gitteh, for that answer. You went deep into the answer. Tonte, what I want to ask is, with all of these things that you've mentioned, and you basically, in so many words, told me that there is room for improvement, and he needs to probably be very cautious and take precautions anyway. So, do you think the Gambians, not only the mandate, he has the mandate for 5 years, but with all of what's happening, do you think he still can lead the country?
I also say I have a conversation with somebody on that just yesterday.
Okay.
The elections happened. He is just 9 months into office for the second term. Anin kujamal del benda dunia. I personally am giving him another 9 months to see what happens. He has new guys. Soko, probably he knows there are a lot of people that are corrupt, but they are also very powerful. There is a way he deals with them. Because I remembered a case, me Alonko, he handled it in a very different way, but in a very slow way. But he handled a case. I'm not going to mention that. And it's a case of a not so decent stuff in his government. And, I think sometimes he meant well, but he is very slow in his decisions that he makes, again, to avoid whatever the president knows that. But I would like to think that it's 9 months. I am giving him another 9 months to see. Right now, I believe government has no direction right now. There are a lot of attempts, a lot of great things might be happening, but the best way to make that a direction, a government with direction, there has to be a proactive communication, connections with the public. If you do not connect to the public, if you do not tell the public what is happening, you wait until public comes for you and very angry for you to be able to come out to the public, you are going to have a problem. There may be a lot of things happening, but adama diwe ko ni mo fada karika salle ikaje salon la ko ya sedia kodi bar ni be la do ko la mo malon ko ba kan nda fola no be do ko ni be corruption o kele kan maje be corruption o kele kan nda fola ba kele kan. You might be working. Askeno Barrow is doing a lot in fighting corruption. Askeno Barrow is doing a lot in judiciary. Askeno Barrow is doing a lot in agriculture. But if Gambians don't know what is happening, it is as good as nothing is happening. Because a lot of things Bangkok are felt. They are not seen. Security, perhaps you have infrastructure more sewoje, but economy those things are usually felt in society. You don't basically see them. So proactively in this social media era, there are people that will fill the vacuum of information. I don't want information vacuum, that gap. What they will put in there is the part that is not favorable to you. Because manzakunda yaje, amam perfect. Dol bije kaol kekule, dol bije bukaol keku. So nite min keku iman na ye oke kopo kono moli aje. Iman min keku, dol be ole sammalana ya ke kopo kono. Ya fo mole adu nim mole jibe wola mol mantra fault. People are not at fault. You are the ones at fault, because it's your responsibility to bring to people the good you have done, the great things you have done, and to also tell them what you are doing about the bad that is happening that you have no control over. You must communicate all of this. But if you keep quiet over it, the enemy or the opponent, that is the right word, the competitor will go for your bad and put it to the people, and you have to be blamed for that. That is your responsibility. And I think that is what Barrow's government's problem is. They are not proactive with information. They are not coming. And I like I said, I would say a lot of things might be happening, but we don't know about them. And we cannot say that they are going on. And that is why Ibrahima.
Yes, sir.
Mano da kolada US lede.
No, Colorado, yes.
Mano da kolada Canada jan. Domorol da kolada dunia betol. But in Itaman, if you don't have the right way to discuss that with the populace, Gambia no bebe complain ka. Ko domoro da kolada. What is Barrow doing? Domoro da kolada. What is Barrow doing? Domoro da kolada. What is Minister of Finance here? And I cannot see why, for almost 1 year, the most important ministry in the current generation, in the current time, is the Minister of Trade. You cannot have 1 year without a trade minister. That is, in essence, is a monumental failure on his side. Irrespective of what. Right now, Bangkok, trade minister and finance are the most important. Especially trade. You don't have a trade minister until now. That is a problem. That is a problem.
So, Gitteh, I mean, there is something you just mentioned now. Munyalonko, it just, I know attention or Katla, the communication part of things, whatever they're doing, because sometimes do diamu or key members of the NPP, it's the opposition never speak on the good things that the government is doing. So, government bad things are wrong, opposition will concentrate on one leg. So in my own thinking is, that's not the role of the opposition to come and sing praises on the good things that the government is doing.
Let me tell you one thing.
Of the government to, because they have the information ministry, they have communications, it's their role to highlight the good things that the government is doing, So anyways, go ahead.
It's true. They have right to say that it's politics. But again, ndaga minfolom kabirim barobe opposition yala anim Hussein Dabonyon anim Dusa Nonyon. When did they come out to tell Gambians, oh, Yaya Jammeh is very tough on security, Yaya Jammeh, the bag of rice is very good, we have good roads from, at least Yaya Jammeh le Kosa Road Silodada. When did Hussein Dabo or Adama Barros stand on a platform to commend Yaya Jammeh for those things when they were in their elections? That is, as you have said, it is not the responsibility of the opposition to do that. That is not. The opposition wants to go to where you are. Just like the way you get there. You did not get there by praising your opponent that was there. So the glass is always as half as it is full. So that is the reality of politics. You have to be proactive. You make sure you are not a reactive government. You have to be proactive. Don't allow people to make you react to information. But to follow kumol. Justin Trudeau, na Prime Minister Mbeola, Justin Trudeau, Luolung, he is writing on his Facebook page. He is writing on his Twitter page. He is tweeting every day. He's on Insta every damn day. Hani motole sila fengoke. Sometimes more kumakendo for they tweet it. You have people, you must, this is an information age. If you don't make best use of information, information will destroy you. Because you cannot control the state media. You cannot control, you can control the traditional media, but you cannot control the like the media here. So niman proactive here for say ite diamu mimbe keriafo mimmantara kerim for problem misoda. For example, nimol diamu da ko. Ite ko health care is important, but more be fakam. Talk about that too. We have women that are dying in hospitals. These and these are the reasons. But this and this is what we have done. This and this is what we have in the pipeline. And you don't say it once and forget about it. Sing it, remind people and talk to them. Because the opposition will always talk about the women that died in the hospital, not the ones that gave birth safely. Tell people about, you have to tell them those that gave birth safely, and plus those that died, why they died, and what you are doing to address the problem to make sure that thing does not happen or it is reduced. Wala Nanibe Mansakunda is a lot more difficult, a lot more of responsibility. This is an information age. And by the way, day before yesterday, I was invited for a guest lecture. I was a guest lecturer at my former university, Carleton. The director of Institute of African Studies had, the role of social media in revolutions in a globalized society. And Gambia was the case in point. So we had a very interesting discussion. And one thing, Professor for Wolemu, near revolution okay no social media la. How sustainable can you maintain the revolution? Because your information only use na ya jame boy the information only. Ya jame was doing some great things in the country. But we use the bad, we talk to people about the bad. Funga boy. Ite ma expect po mol binale ite la opposition ol binale bete la kendo fola niyo mirete nyamata. You don't have sense. That is not how it happens. So you must now shift the goalpost. Be a lot more proactive. If it means paying people on the ground, if it means, hiring, PR institutions, lobbies like, Paul Kagame would do it.
Okay. After and then after we'll segue back into your candidacy again. So it's one thing Gambian Modema Bukadaming for, because sometimes we blame the health authorities a lot. And but when we look at the budget, that is allocated to the health ministry, or sometimes to the education ministry, or even to the agriculture ministry, you make comparisons with your budget mung allocate to the state house. It's like akamuda ko dinding kumba and dinding kumbese. You understand? So I mean but Ikajele, with the limited resources they have, what's your opinion on the next time budgeting comes into play? For the budgets for those particular ministries to be increased, Isaje, they can also be able to have that funding to, conduct some good oversight practices, because funding TJ. So that's why they cannot look into a lot of things.
Okay, so to be very fair with State House, sometimes near a budget or dada, people, there is something people don't understand, and it's important that it's clear with all fairness. At least I have made some research. New Office of the President, for example, State House la budgeto. The State House is huge. It's a very big entity. So State House entails, so like National Intelligence Agency, na NIA, na intelligence is on the State House budget, for example.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that. Vice President's office is on the State House. National Disaster Management Agency, National NANA, I don't know, National Nutrition Agency, Ombudsman's office. So you have a lot of offices under the office of the president. It's huge. So Nico, office of OP, office of the president, I would have loved them to, especially those that are making budgets, to kind of make sure they stipulate, you know, what goes to where. Like office of the president, 600 million. Out of that money, some goes to the office of the vice president. Another budget goes to military, you know, SIS, you know, intelligence, the salaries, the trainings, everything. And the other one goes to, you know, National Disaster Management Agency, the Ombudsman's office, NANA. And I think there are about other five apart from these that are directly under the office of the president. So all of their budgets are from this 600 million, for example. So it's a lot. But then one thing will fix Gambia's problem in terms of this budgeting. Barrow has to stamp his feet and say death sentence against corruption. Corruption is our biggest problem. We have corruption. We must be serious about fixing that country. Corruption is our problem. It is because of corruption that some of the projects are not able to move forward. You want to change Ports Authority, the person that is there probably feels nim project he's not interested. You want to do procurement, good procurement, motolumu $100,000, one car. I know that does not have those because there are vehicles that they will say about 7 million, 8 million, moto minyanda sana $3 million. Procurement officer moto samba moto is 7 million. Inflation of prices. I think the president has to stamp his feet and look into that. Yaya jamme sometimes I found a plane or kata. I ta feninola tubabudu. I sanna. Abukala la mola. I found a kata. Sometimes he aka cool bed damfule. I found a tama ita factory. I ta femolsa. Nim president Maoto Jibe. Na government digitalize. Man, Canada is an e-government. United States is a digital government. These are things, these are governments with a lot more, you know, stuff. Gambia has to digitalize its government, its stuff. New one thing. Corruption on mimbe porolto, corruption on mimbe institutional, corruption on mimbe lalto. They are rampant. Mansa kundala resources, ni ajibe leakages, ni mansa kundaka 100 billion nesoto. Along almost 50 or 60 billion is lost to corruption. Kebama, Gambia ni tata jente bota jangte. Ndanga doko kumase modolu nya bi korda fula be olbun. How does it happen? Ngata Gambia nga moto jembi alon ko jang mo ni koy be o sanna. Hay be kala na fulti baldi your salary must be over $120,000 to be able to buy those type of cars. Nkata nkautara manza kunda dokula albulila private vehicles mini alon ko they are worth perhaps, you know, their salary is $20,000. How do they get that? Moe musonyin. I didn't lose sort. Wala di word. I be samba karamodo. Karamomi alonko, you know, 1 year. Some pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Ye didn't lose some. Ye moto kerosang. Moto mi alonko is about $4, $5 million. Ye na ye bunjan sabalo. Where do you get that money from? Where the hell do you get that money from? Nico, like what's on Gambia, I mean, for in the case of Port Authority, there's a problem. Moli fenkota ni jorangol nata itanyanda tax collector like 2020 Range Rover near Sambanan Gambia. You should pay perhaps $200,000 $300,000 tax on it. But Molia na doku lal mimbe Ports Authority wala GRA iniye ferreki ko okay $50,000 dinna and you can pay 20,000 on the car. Ya double yeta I got motoni instead of 2020 motoni ya samba to 1999 wala 1990 vehicle. So if you don't digitalize and be serious about fighting corruption, we will always have these deficits. And what is going to happen is that the very people who made corruption will be against you. Mol jele Ibrahima haketu de mbedi amukan. Mol jele mini alonko. Ika fo nyimman sakunda is corrupt. Nyimman sakunda mambetea. Nyimman sakunda betende. Woli nyom mo corrupt lingol wo man sakunda kona atekeri. Atekeri. But you know what? They go with the flow. Ninja mako barola man sakunda is corrupt. The blame coming baro fa ya fo nyame. Na kuyata na tinyata ntelom. Wallahi na kuyata telom. Ala ya be ole nyama. Adama din kunda be wala jam qur'ano wala fo de hadiso le wala fo ye fe man satalla ila responsibility ya detail letelo iketel nyininka adun dunia bo jam ni tata kelola ngoya jele sojarol be Russia be kelola Ukraine. If there is any court martial wala be molkila international criminal court Yalan Charles Taylor Yole Sambaje, Adamal Bije. But there are many of his colonels, his captains, his lieutenants that directly kill people. Some of those people kill over 1,000 people. But they are in Liberia today. Charles Taylor is the one that bears responsibility. So oversight responsibility is what people look at. So the buck stops at Barrow. Barrow must stamp his feet and say, damn it. Nim fada ala bendel nyinim kala ning nying tinya dai batele to kuyakang mol bafala Barrow be sino la Barrow de fendi Barrow people ibuka for Minister of Health wala Director of Ports Authority. These are the corrupt people. But mol buke fe ka wala Barrow de fendi corruption of nyim banko ka Barrow is incompetent. Barrow has no direction. Mol ka Barrow nyim mol min fata de ndindi mol ika Barrow fo mine sign nga lon jumalel fenkol sambanang medicine sambanang bari ka jumala fo barole nyinke baro is this baro is that. So the box stops at him. He has to stamp his feet. Nama okay Gambian ol batinya, they will destroy him and he will regret that. Hani alkiyama na fata ba regret laji.
All right, Gitteh ngalong ila wato mututa jaman siya. But let me play this quick video for you of Alhaji Muhammad, the one he made yesterday. It's just it's like great Geoming follow Geoming. Video.
No, good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. President Baron Tesisile Tenya. Until Mansila ya Jamenya Sokoete. Ya Jamela NIL Canandel Noma Radio Toja. Eka full soldier trokol Kintelia. Paradise FM. Haruna radio to ndaman sila wonya soko ete President Barrow mo silete nya ni teme domoro ke subo nyimi do kono fata do nyina to komin kole yabe ke wala ni teme Gambia la kole yalo electricity free geo free e dinke o hayna baba abe Mumbai la mo la kodo la America Fatoumata Babaro buko munku janiro abuko fry fish ni me kema dandar la ni sente la e salon dele babu kaja nsi jay kunumbi ngane tinya e mallo nko e mallo fama da babaro e mallo kodi e buko nie worto dans 500 kula kada diam wi kema ile e be ngolon din ko sarafato ini kara tama jaro buko fenko malo be men fola sanje keme furew ni man diam wi kema itala be nyim bankuntinya kayta musu kana diamu ikene doro nyin steras be wafu kala leje diam kana diamu ikema kana diama itama kulu jaro membuko mafu jaro wala ye purata yala dimba kenya mboka kana diamu ikema itemen ko nin denanol wulude tel kata denanol awot ibe deri first lady même marta denanol ni men wulude awodo dial di nul fatet iban chonka finde diam Canadian.
All right. So, Mr. Gitteh, so now, I mean, this all comes back to the emotional aspect of Gambians in Kadaming Foy. So when these things happen, a lot of people get emotionally attached to the situation, and they are right, in some aspects for doing that. But on this show, I just want to tell people that we're just playing this video just to showcase some of the outcry and public outcry that's coming out of the people. We don't condone Nendi role, especially people that insult our leaders. We do not condone that on this platform at all. But we're just playing the video to showcase what's happening out there, more than Mumfuka. But we do not accept our leaders being, no matter how they're at fault or if they're not at fault, we don't condone Molke and Kabulela family members and stuff like that. But after saying all of that, Jite, people like Elijah Muhammad came out and did this video, and there is information out there, and it's been confirmed, arrested, but he hasn't been charged. And a lot of people are attributing, arrest Munna close to this video or whatever. So, what's your opinion on that? Should the police rush to arrest someone? And if they arrest him, do they have anything to charge him with? Because I don't think in Gambia we have a law, President Oneng or Kumul Fala Musuma, you should be arrested or stuff like that. So, but I know it's a lot more stuff that's been said on that video, but I just want to hear what your opinion is on this.
Yeah, I was told yesterday, and this was way, into the night. This was around 1, I think, that someone, a friend of mine, drew my attention to this particular message. And one of the journalists, prominent journalists in the Gambia, I was talking to as well in the evening. I mean, it's a very complex situation. All right. I cannot be defensive, and at the same time, we all have to be very careful with how we deal with matters. I remember. Let me be historical a bit. I remember, shortly before elections, things were very, very heated, and supporters from our camp used to say some very, very, like today, looking at them today, some things that were not very morally okay to opposition leaders. And the same thing from the opposition end to our leaders. Of course, I've had worse things said to Adam Barrow and the First Lady than this from during politics, and even Umar, I'm on even right now from some opposition camps, worse things are said than this, and people are not arrested. Is he arrested because an example has to be set? Is he arrested because he has said something that is, legally, incriminating and all of that? We would have to wait for the police to tell us that. If I would say what my feeling, my personal views on this is, as a person myself, I'll advise myself and any other person that, now that of course we are all maturing, be nice and, argue, talk about matters, based on their merits and demerits, and not looking at people individually caricature and all of that. I would have loved to do that as a person. And I would have loved all of us to do that to each other. I know Muhammad might be very, very angry. It's worth getting, angry about. But for a general kind of stuff, for a general, discussion, let us be measured and let us try. And like you said, try as much as we can to double down, especially when it comes to stuff that have a lot of emotions in them. Muhammad's case sometimes is very special because he's a comedian like Baba Ja. They say things that normal person like you and I wouldn't say. Like you remember there is this um, comedian in the United States that just came on say and say, I wanna say that I wanna F Michelle Obama, like I wanna sleep with Michelle. I'm sure you would hear that. And who said that when First Lady is watching you and say, I wanna F you, like I wanna sleep with you. The president is sitting, the first lady is sitting, but that is it's a very different world altogether. But I watched this. I mean, a very famous comedian, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, watching a comedian. Somebody just came out and the first thing he said is, I wanna F, Michelle Obama. And that is crazy. But in our context, we have not reached that stage yet. And morally, as Muslims and Christians, we'll be careful of that. Hey, I mean, Ibsen, let me tell you this. I right now I would go and watch a lot of my videos that I said, particularly as it relates to Honorable Hussein Udabo. Like at personal level, I watch them on YouTube. Sometimes I feel very bad that you know I could be carried away so much that I would say legally they are not a problem. But I look at myself, I've said, no, some of these things could have been said in a better way than I made. So we learn from stuff. And I feel today I can disagree with Dabo, lawyer Hussein Dabo, any other politician, like I'm disagreeing with, Barrow a lot. But you have to do it with civility and with decorum.
Yes,
Muhammad is,
yes.
and some of his words also are in the context of comedy. We must put that into context. Babaja made very, very interesting statements, before elections about Dabo, and some of them were very painful. But I looked at it from the perspective of a comedian. And because I've also lived in the West, things like that, comedians have some extra
Leverage.
stuff. This is a serious matter, and let's see what happens. I hope and pray that things are sorted out. And Muhammad and First Lady were very good friends, and I'm sure they have crossed paths in happy moments. And I'm sure that the president and his family will understand that things happen. And even if he has made anything that is offensive, they would at family level forgive him because they are in power. That's why they have that attention. If they are private citizens, nobody cares about what they'll be up to and all of that. But it's important we understand. But we are a new democracy. We are growing. We are looking for a direction and a system, and we're also learning as we move on. And that is exactly what I have. I don't know if that makes any sense to viewers or so.
Yes, it does. It does. So now let's segue into your candidacy. You touched on national issues and current issues, but I also know that you are vying for a political position, and it's important for people out there to
Yes.
get to know much about you in terms of, what you are willing to do or ready to do for Brikama, or Brikama Area Council. So now,
Yes.
Mr. Gitteh, Ite, at this point in time, let's fast forward a little bit and say, okay, if the NPP were to come back and say, okay, okay, we are going with Sheriff or we're going with another candidate. And just an example, and Gitteh is left out. Are you still going to pursue as an independent or under another political party?
So what I keep telling people is I don't think NPP would do that. So that is where I stand. I don't believe National People's Party will pick a candidate different from me. I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a very strong belief NPP would go ahead with me. If they do not, when we get to that level, there are a lot of things that happen. I mean, one of the reasons why during parliamentary election I picked an independent candidate and we went against the party was the manner in which selection process was done, and things that were said immediately after the election process at primary level. So sometimes it all depends on how things went, circumstances surrounding the situations. And as far as I'm concerned at this point, I am 100% in belief that the party is going to take me. I'm preparing myself for that. And, I hope the party takes me. The alternative is only discussed when we reach that level. But for now, I believe NPP would. And I say this, a lot of people will ask me why. With all due respect to all those candidates, I mean, okay, put Sirifo in position. You ask even, even I would say even Sirifo's family, they said, you and Gitteh, they'll say, with all due respect, Gitteh is a better candidate than you. He's more educated than you. He perhaps have a lot more appeal to the populace than you. I mean, with all due respect to him. And for NPP as a party, there are tenets of democracy that politicians need to look at. If we are a smart politician and we got those things wrong during the parliamentary election and we failed woefully in West Coast, in KMC, and in Banjul, and those are, politics is a number. You go to people that give you number because number gives you victory. And how do people give you number? You look at that. There are tenets, there are characters people have that will give them a number. Ahmad Gitteh is a household name in West Coast. Growing up, I have a very clean track record. If you ask any of my teachers, of course, I've never handled a major political position, but you ask my teachers, you ask those that I was in the same school with, when I was a student leader, they tell you he means what he means. And even in my time in NPP, people know how much work we have done, both in UDP and how committed I am to a cause. Assertiveness, winning attitude, the ability to go to the last bit of what I want. I mean, those are the kind of things you need in leaders, people that are innovative, people that are courageous, people that are upright and brave and truthful, and they make sure things happen and they're assertive. And the other thing I have is, for example, my people, I'll always mention them, UDP. You can say Gitteh is terrible, he insults, he is rude. They would say that. But am I result oriented? Can I achieve a goal? Everybody will agree. Yes, disagree with him, but he's a team player. And he is not a person that will come and become a liability. He's a man that if he is with you, he achieves for you. He will give you, and he is going to be among the top of those that you will rely on for results. And everybody sees that. West Coast region, there is no individual I'm scared of when it comes to contributing to Barrow's numbers in West Coast. There is nobody that I'm scared of in terms of bringing numbers for Barrow. I went to people, I got people, I convinced people that would otherwise not even listen to President Barrow. I have had instances people would tell us, if it is not you, we don't trust Barrow. People would say, I am voting for Barrow because of you. If you ask those questions here, there may be somebody watching who voted for Barrow, not because he likes Barrow, but because he likes Gitteh, and Gitteh is with Barrow. Somebody must be watching here that voted for Barrow because of me. And if you have those kinds of people with you, people that have likeness and appreciation across political lines, it's good you use them. Today I have hundreds of people, thousands of people from GDC, APRC NATO Alliance, from UDP, forget about NPP, who are supporting me. They are part of my campaign. From DOI, GPDOIS, DOI supporters on my campaign team. They don't care whether NPP takes me or not. They want me. They believe I can do it, and they believe I have what it takes to transform that very important sector of West Coast. And I think NPP should take that opportunity. I'll be very surprised that you will have Gitteh, a person like me, and he say, oh no, we are going to choose someone. The basis on which you will do that, I'll be very surprised. I'm educated, and I don't have to present the document for any Gambian to know that Gitteh is educated. And it's not only he is educated, Gitteh has shown beyond every reasonable doubt that he is one of the most loyal people to the party. What I have done on record, nobody did it in the party. And I can say that and raise my hand right up that I left a job here without anybody taking care of my family. I got my scholarship money, put them together, went to Gambia, spent 6 months, complete 6 months, without any salary, without any compensation from Barrow or from National People's Party to work for the party. I have been there at all levels. Nobody will be picked from NPP in West Coast that got to that level of sacrifice as I am. If you go to that level of sacrifice, you may not be as prominent as I am, you may not be as appealing as I am, and you may not be as likable as I am to the people that vote. So I just look at them, and we will see what happens, but it will beat the imagination of every sensible Gambian that NPP will have Gitteh and choose to pick someone else. And if they do it, I can tell you, it's not going to be based on competence. It's not going to be based on education. It's not going to be based on loyalty to the party. It's not going to be based on history with the party. It's going to be based on personal hatred. It's going to be based on, something selfish and not in the interest of the party. And if that happens, I think we will know where we go next.
Yes, Gitteh, I don't know. I think the rough that and you only promised us 45 minutes, but we're almost 2 hours into this program. But left in Kala, nte munyomin kolti. But Muluta West Coast, and I spent a lot of time in
Yes.
So Silang, based on Ntemo Munje West Coast, Mumantra Hapun Kanje, when you look at Banjul or you look at KMC area, the kind of leadership that, for example, Atodung, Talib Bensouda is putting forward. Talib is utilizing social media a whole lot in terms of communicating to the masses. Whatever he's doing, he's making sure that it's well documented and is well communicated as well. So, and he's bringing in a lot of projects, regardless of, the bottlenecks that he faces, when it comes to funding from the government, because of, he's from a different party than the government.
The difference, yeah, the political difference. Yeah.
So he's trying to go outside and source, resources in order to, build projects that will put him in a good position for re-election, for example. Gitteh, coming into trying to be a candidate, what lessons have you drawn from that, that you can expand upon in trying to transform West Coast into that, level of development?
So I met the mayor of Ottawa, that is Canada's capital. Unfortunately, this is his last time. We have an election on the 24th of October, and he's leaving. And I'm guessing that the person that I'm going to support for this coming election for mayor of the capital of Canada would be the winner, hopefully. But I spoke to him. We've looked at a lot of things. The mayor, by the way, has been my friend since 2013. He was in the university that I attended. We went to the same university, of course, at different times. But he has been a minister at provincial level for several years. He became mayor. He had a lot of experience. And we've had some great conversations, and I've learned a lot from him. I am reaching out to different mayors at different cities. And in fact, I'm trying to reach out to in US term, the governor of our state, Ontario. We are the richest, like the California of the US, not in terms of rich, but in terms of population. Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario. I'm trying to reach out. I want to get as much understanding as possible, and also, if possible, get as much support as we can. But Ibsen, West Coast region does not even need central government to be able to take care of itself. I sat with experts, especially with economics. If we have an efficient way of collecting revenue, we can take care of West Coast. I have made an estimate. I'm talking about tough, like Mustafa Njai's estates alone. You can get 100 million a year from the rates, the 0.04% of rates that you collect from properties. The properties that Mustafa Njai, Tough Construction, owns in the Gambia and he sold in West Coast, you can get 100 million from them alone. And that is different from properties that are at high ends. There is a lot we can do with even refuse collection, with a lot more stuff. We can build West Coast. We can make that place the breadbasket of the country. We can make it a hub for tourism. We can make it a sanctuary for youth employment, for innovation in terms of technology and entrepreneurship. We have all these things in place. Of course, Talib, I am more frequent on social media than Talib. He is my generation. He will be a year or two older than me, but the same generation. He studied in Canada here. He had spent some time here. I studied here. So we have a lot in common. And I appreciate him. He is less in politics and more about development. And I told my people, it will require a very strong, concerted effort to be able to unseat Talib. You see the programs he's coming with. And of course, as a Gambian, here there are great things that he's doing. And some of those, we will want them to come to West Coast. One is making sure that we have refuse collection, trucks. We need garbage trucks, thousands of them for West Coast. We also need buses, public transportation. We want electricity, but we also need to even improve our municipal security to complement the security of the central government, the police for our region. We need to work on our, markets. Birikama needs to be decongested. Birikama needs to be fixed. It's the capital. It's, apart from Serekunda, is the biggest settlement. But it's unfortunate the way it is. We need to fix that place. There are no recreational facilities for children. There are no parks. You have one football field, and the garage car park is, God knows the situation. When it rains, it's very sad. But Birkama is not the only place to make an economic hub in West Coast. Burfoot is a huge place. Gunjur is a fantastic place. Sanyang, Tujeren, Batokunku, these are fishing communities. We want to build cold stores for women, for their a lot of stuff we have in place. And we believe, even without government, NGOs and international organizations want to help governments and institutions become self-reliant. They are tired of feeding us every day, every year, every decade. We want to be innovative. We want to bring proposals, concrete ones, that are going to solve our problems once and for all. We want to get funding from United Nations Development Program, if possible, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of health, in terms of agriculture, and make sure once and for all we solve these problems and let the Gambia also stand on its feet. Brother, Gambia is so small. Ottawa, my city, is 1 million people. The budget is how many billion? The mayor of Ottawa sits over almost $5, $6, $10 billion. We don't even have $1 billion as our annual budget. We have so many educated people that I am talking to, people at very high positions, Gambians who are managing budget portfolios a year that is almost Gambia's 10 years budget. When you go to IMF, when you go to Standard Chartered Bank, when you go to WHO, African Union, there are Gambians that are managing budgets that are Gambia's 10 years budget. And these people love the Gambia. So I want to make use of all of these people's talents and resources and bring them to West Coast, and let's make it a model for the country. We are going to fix that place. Ibsen.
All right, inshallah. So, more question on Yininkaja, I think he's a constituent. Ako, what differences will Mr. Chairman Gitteh of Brikama Area Council in terms of collection of garbage in the Brusubi areas, and I'm sure the entire region? We are paying private trash collectors from our own pocket $500. The council failed us to collect these. So that's verbatim on what he wrote.
So how would I do that? So this is getting interesting. And that's why I said I would have only loved to talk about my ambition, my objectives, my plans for my people. I'm not leaving Gambia to Barrow. I'm not leaving Gambia to Ousseynou Dabo. I'm not leaving Gambia to anybody. If I agree with you, we go together. If I don't agree, I move. But Gambia remains the center stage of my being. And I believe it needs to be fixed. Now, with garbage collection, I've seen Talib, brought something very, very nice. He bought trucks on loan from Mohammed Jah, and he would charge maybe $10, $20 or so for something. But I have a lot of friends that live in Bursubi, Burfoot Heights, and I saw families that were actually paying every 2 days, every other day. They were paying $300 for mbalit, for garbage in Bursubi. So if you are paying $300 or $200 every other day, in a month you pay almost $2,000, $3,000. We want to buy, we are going into partnership. We will buy trucks and we can charge people flat prices under normal circumstances by law. When people pay taxes, you have to provide them with services. And some of those services are supposed to be free because they are paying taxes. Garbage collection is one of them. We are going to buy trucks. We are going to collect garbages from people. We will get people to pay their property taxes, the rightful taxes, and we will buy these materials and collect them in time. We will make sure you have street lights. We will make sure the electricity situation is taken care of, because we have a plan and we want to talk to NAWEC. In West Coast, the richest people in the Gambia. Ali, yes. What is it? What is too loud? Okay, go, mommy will help you. My son said I'm too loud. They are these boys.
Daddy has work to do.
The Gambia's richest people, the richest from everywhere, they all come and settle in West Coast. Ibsin, for example, you have a property in maybe Burusibi, in Burfoot Heights. There are thousands perhaps watching that have properties in Burusibi, in Burfoot, in Jabang, Wulinkama, Costa Road, Bijilo. All these are in West Coast. Kotu, all these are in West Coast. Ibsen wants to live at least a better life when he goes home. I know you will pay anything for stable electricity, because you want your $100,000 worth of house utensils to be protected. Nimkuran kana kataka fa yela television sang dola will saba dola will nania sambela bunkono kurang kataka na ayla television tinya
Wallahi
ila mobile wala. Exactly. So you will not want to lose that. So if I offer you electricity at a commercial rate, it might not be okay, but it guarantees that you have 24-hour electricity. We want to go to NAWEC and talk to them, and we will talk to those of our people that are living in rich areas that, hey, we want NAWEC to supply you at a commercial rate, but we want to make sure you have 24/7 electricity. We can go do that with NAWEC. And we offer you that. That is an offer. We can also offer you free street lights. We can offer you free garbage collection in time. And it's going to be very regular. And we ask you to pay the right value of your property. The law says 0.04% of your property is what you should pay to Brikama Area Council every year. If you own a building that is 10 million, 15 million, I have around $20,000 from you. If you own a house that is 50 million, there are a lot of houses in Burusibi that are worth $30, $40 million. So we have almost 10,000, 20,000 of those kinds of houses probably in West Coast. If people are supplied with the right facilities, they will be able to pay for them, because these are facilities they are used to. Most people living in these places are from the West. They live in the West. They are Gambians, but they come and settle in West Coast. They want to enjoy these facilities. They will be willing to pay. If they pay that money, I will use that money to develop other areas for the poor people. Good markets for people in Gunjur, fence the gardens for women to make sure their produce are protected in their gardens so that they can have good harvest. If they have good harvest, we get good markets for them. We build cold stores for them. Their vegetables and their fish that they get from the ocean or from rivers will be protected. They can sell and be able to pay taxes to me. And that way, we will invite our young people that will come with a lot of, entrepreneurship, ideas and proposals. And I'm serious about this. $30 million every year is going to be set aside for young people. Bring ideas that are possible, that are, good for agriculture, for technology, and you present them. The best 10 goes each with $3 million every year. We have experts in these areas to help you grow your businesses. And at the end of the day, for West Coast, for 4 years, I don't want I'm sorry to say, foreigners to be in charge of our market. When it is tuba, makalo, we have no fish. I'm not going to accept that. When we have, an election in Guinea, we have no bread. We cannot accept that. When we have, Toboski, we have no fish. We cannot. We must empower our young people to go into fishing. They must own businesses. They must be responsible or go into poultry farming, small ruminants and all of that to make sure the price of goat and sheep when Tobaski comes are reasonable for our people. So, we have a lot. I'm just saying all of this. We have a lot in place for our people. But one thing I want to say before I conclude, to all of the diaspora, I am telling them, when I go home next year, I'm leaving $85,000 salary. That is over $6,000 a month salary, with health benefits, with everything guaranteed for me in terms of security, in terms of job security, in terms of opportunities for my children. And I'm going back to the Gambia. I want to be the blueprint for Gambia diaspora. With the amount of talents and knowledge and opportunities we have in Gambians as human resource, that country is too small for us to develop. But I want to be the model. I want to be the blueprint for you. I want the entire diaspora to see me as their blueprint. I am going there, and I am going to be the blueprint for Gambia's success. We are going to put in place things that are going to be a model. And from West Coast, we will fix Gambia once and for all. I think it's about time we concentrated. It's about time we realized that we need to fix that country for us. If you get old, you retire with your millions, you go back to Gambia. I know people that were professors in the US. They are in their 60s now. They got hundreds of thousands of dollars from their professorship. Some were doctors, some were nurses, some were engineers, some were working for WHO whatsoever. They are in their 60s now. They are in the Gambia. You are watching CNN. In the next 3 minutes, now it goes FAP. What essence has all that 50 years of your accumulation of wealth? What has it gotten for you? You are back home. You have retired. Today you cannot have electricity. You have a Range Rover. You have money. You have retired. You have Range Rover that you want to buy. You want to buy any kind of car that comes out, but you buy a car, you have no road to drive it on when it's rainy season. The roads are all terrible, or they are not up to standard, or you have fuel is of the lowest quality. You have a car, in 3 years, a brand new car, 3 years, it has to go to a garage because the fuel you are buying for your best car engine is garbage. What is the essence of your 50 years of living outside? There is no essence. You buy your most expensive utensils, your stoves, your fans, your ceiling fans, your beautiful lights from Dubai, from China, your fantastic TV. Now it goes fit fat and it's burnt out. What essence, what kind of life do you have? You get stressful, your millions are with you, nothing. We must look at that. We must all look into that. And I am willing to sacrifice the money I'm getting here, the good health care, and I'm going back to the Gambia to make sure I get to that place. And if there is corruption, I will die or corruption dies. That is what I say. People will joke about this, but I can tell you a history. Nin jita ko nying, nin silolom, eben falale, wala nga soro barabe soro lang. Foni luwa ma fot.
Okay, so
Nin luwa ya fo. Ibe itele fala walete boje wala luwa min fonga oke. And we need that in the Gambia now. We need to fix it. It's going to be very painful. Naman kolea mansa mansanata wala momo nata banko kang ima koleandi billahi mantra dokula. Situation has been Gambia tinyata le atinyata ni mansanata abekolo ko bulo itata football le boyte bulo katita itata bulu bulandila ya janna ka bulo murinda nyama faye dimi. If they want to fix the hand, to take it back to where it was, you must feel the pain. Gambia, that is what is happening. We must take a very painful step to fix that place. Corruption is a problem. That one is a problem. And somebody has to be mad. The West Coast nalen somebody ngalo wato dalba falanyele jite sabari. Iben kuman le konya jite ngamimo ebe sabarlan. We need to fix that country. Dunia be kole arinne molbe boka nyoto mobe ke mire fangol lela fankun nebe keri ni mallo alla banko etanya to sako banku ndimmimbe ko Gambia nga fix sign jannim population of it are 5 million people 10 million people in a very small country, and we explode because someday 10-20 years our population will go to 5 million 10 million. We are increasing exponentially. So, I mean, but I am passionate about that country. I am passionate about West Coast. And we have a lot in place. We have a lot for our people. Abdullah Koninte BJ. Billahi, I don't care. Ibe party Jumale, I don't care. Mo kendo be party o beleto. I will be open. Nimu no sotie no siale karang. Nimu doctor olti. Nimu engineer ti. Mu fewo fenti. Nge kumandina nge dani. Nanang. Ndolafta na drainage system fix la le birikama ni West Coast. Mba fix la. Lafta jio la. Gambians are asking for the most basic of things. Ndela jam. Kako kurang kadala nte buka mira ola dunia. Mbe mira la mbe. Domoro da kolera barka fo domoro mansoro wala kurang manta wala jio mansor. I don't think about that. But Gambiano is thinking about need a political rally la. Man jio soto, man silo soto, man kurang soto, man marse soto. These are the most basic for a country. Jio tijam, jita najam buka jio soto. Sila tijam man sila soto. Kurang tijam man kurang soto. This is what they say. We have to fix those now. They need to be fixed. If we cannot fix them, we cannot move forward. Because nim fuaro ya la kino tabi. Akomba tunata nakot. Pura concentrate no nakot. Akana bata fuloke. Na la kino tabi. Aya ke firjo kona tilisa bakije. Barni la kino tabi data nakoto 12 hours electricity ite kodi draw electricity fanaya kodi. Ila kino etoli. Ila chalo ya sanan chali pano ya samana ya wafu marseo iko fenso doje bi marse mandia mol manna chali sangola for some reason sangol le keda kamol le bekeri mol manna ila chalo e maso re bakela dam sama chalo be kum. How would you be able to go for business? You cannot. Yela jabo sambana yela mendeo sambana tilnan tilul mendeo be tinya. It's not sustainable. The amount of mangoes that get destroyed in that country, watermelon, last year ni watu be entaraje. Na boy sol nyininga. Saro ekami wafi onyongole katinya. How would we go from poverty to middle class? It's not possible. And this has been going on for decades. We cannot solve those small things. It's impossible. We must fix them. We have Gambians who fix problems bigger than that for other people around the world. Where are they? Let's get to them. Somebody has to be in the leadership that is ready to open up and invite people. Yes, Saro Doku, Karisabayla Saro, yes, Saridin Kemesoro, near Dintalul Wafino, Dintalul Betimia. Near Duto Soro Dutawato, Duta Pani Keme, Duta Pani Talulo Betina, Pantalul Drekolowaf. We cannot go forward with that. And you know what we need to fix them? Very simple stuff. Electricity has to be there.
Yes.
Good roads have to be there. There has to be water. Simple. The basics, we fix the problem. So I think we can do it. We have brains like Canadian Prime Minister and Canadian government. We have brains like the Americans. Like we have brains like Singapore, like Ghana, like Malaysia. We can fix our problems like China, like Taiwan. We can. Our population is very small. The demand is very low. Why can't we supply? Be more baby diamulale kamininga mani boto. Mano da koleadalde. But ni ajibe 1,600. Moro what a fent. Na bankobe dari nyame. Molla salary be minimum salary. Anyanda kela dalasi will tansabaldi for a country like that. Ninga na taxol be collect. Nga na revenue be collect. Nga loopholes all close. We can increase the cleaner can receive $30,000. How many Gambians are employed in government? Very few Gambians. One more department old. See one department. Gambia la mansa kundabe. But cleaner could be paid if we fix our problems, and we can fix them. If we have people that can inspire and they are ready to be poor, they are ready to be hated by everybody, they are ready to be one-term presidents, one-term mayors, one-term chairmen. I'm ready to be one-term. Barenga mimfongake ni moli yang kanu fa ni man kanu yembai ye dokota yembai barenga mimfonna vision mumindimba. I will fulfill it, and I know there are great Gambians out there that are willing to help me. If in Inimbara.
So what last words Yamunda Soto and for the people of West Coast region, and also elect campaigning, how can people contact you and get in contact with you if they want to offer their help and support?
So the most important thing that coming from Modia, for example, I'm not saying I'm going independent, but if I decide to go independent, Hani Adam Baro Samana West Coast, there is one team Abembuti Elamin. One. Wolon Kodot. Abe Kodo Sodolanti, I use, I know. But nga diamu molie, nga hakilo soto, nga planol soto, innovative ideas. We connect to people from their hearts. We talk to the hearts of people. Adunga itani mola ngal kano adu molie la, barote mbute no la West Coast. So nga fo molie le, ni momi lata na kodo bebulu, wale kodo dula soto. Lafta le mako nga na campaign of fun. Of course, ni ajambi jambe doku wala jamfang. I need to take care of my family. Because what happened is I would have been at home if I had stayed here last year. Because serum mume mandoku 9 months ngole ke Gambia. Mbe doku wala barwe. Momanjo salary la, momanjo fenna. Last year, the whole of last year, I have been paid $4,000 salary ngole bulaja for 9 months. So I would have been saving. But in Moke, I was in the bush for Baro. Imanjo Kodila, Iman compensate, Iman Fenke. So I have to also think about my family. So Natumanungondela Nakodo savings mimbembulu, Natumanungo last year or 9 months of Benu, Nabedo Kuna savings mimbembulu, Tenumbegulo Kono Bimbe Gambia, Nimol Bediamon. Ntatula Mobulu, Metara on the ground. So laughter financing part was very important. And if we need the future, we must invest in it today. Atol mo jamal lella kordalu dulal ka jani je. Allah jorangol minu ka jani. Sometimes poor governance lekake. Anim fanam lack of good leadership coming amin for minu bita na weki kwe okay enko. Gambia na hulti ol bebe ndele ya West Coast. Come on, just like a bank, this is business. It's a corporate world. I cannot allow Sela Bunja Sise or Sela Bunja or Ibsin to come from the US. I know Cordas and the West Coast Young, Abuka electricity. So, as a CEO, as a chairman, no, I don't want that to happen. Fonga make so ni nata ye fengol min sambananja minu bente ya develop la, they must be protected. So funding na weki diamu. GY soto adunning IGP diamu security reinforce na make so mola property le protect. I can do that for my people of West Coast. So wobe kela no nyadi le nali en soto je bari ntake no la kodo koma ngaw fola dumba fola kodeke kampeño kodo le kake de nde dal tala adum ben kala alala manso mi enda Gambia be kole arine momo mo fo ye wuli yala adum adama dimo puru ay foroya fengo koma ka kole if we want to get good for now you have to spend money. So until after wo dani la back, my campaign budget for West Coast is $5 million. After $5 million, $5 million. If I get 5 million, I'm working very hard to get this 5 million. And alhamdulillah, alam mansabat. But that is what we are working on, racing to make sure we have no problem. We move smoothly, transportation, logistics, campaign materials, ngabe parendi, ngatara Gambia, ni NPP enta, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, ni manta ni wato sida, wobe koila. But West Coast people, I am offering myself, adun Gambian ol fanan, whether you are from West Coast or not, everybody has a relative in West Coast. So lafta je betea, lafta na funding ke ole do ko sodo, lafta nga loptanol ni healthcare kendol sodo je, security sodo je, na silo liye betea, electricity sodo West Coast kono, inshallah rabbul alamin. Na environmental mi alon ko be tinya kan, Kenya biola, sako gunjur nyol mafaola, golden lead factories, nga mansa kunda diamundi nga jibe, ni manyana taraje nge bondije. Because mola kunkol ne betinya kan aduo factories e kamuneke e ka nyel mutale ndola mol nyanta domor lamina ya dada yeta di sewola China ndala mo malafi ndolbe chali nyino la manchalo sodo manye sodo ede ka nyemu de ka dada e ka di sewola wandia ndeta sonnawa.
That's true, man.
I cannot do that. People don't have fish to eat. We have problems of fish. Somebody is giving me, even if you are giving me 1 million, I want my fish. Let people have enough of fish. I cannot let you give me 2 million and you are taking my fish and you are feeding it to pigs and dogs in China. Okay. Adun mbe West Coast rally le osifa le stop nina molta domoro kela te findila domoro sabati mole domoro sodo ye nye domo ye balu nye mu balu kende balta telefisi ata suboti ni mol buka nye sodo ita ka factory lo ni golden physical o de ka di sewol la China mba.
Agree. So Gitteh, what number can they call to offer their support?
My number is Asafe. Is
it a Gambian number or
it's a I'll give you 3 numbers.
Okay.
One is myself, but anytime more members work on, a lot of people are joining my campaign now. There are a lot of people they are with me, but they are not yet out because they believe if they come out, President Mang endorse. They don't want to show themselves, but they are still with me.
Okay.
There are some who are waiting to see because they don't want me to go with the president. But I'm telling them, I have to go with him. I mean, it's me. Talib went with Barrow. I mean, Talib is Talib today. Barrow Munenwala. So those are not the things. I'm sure Barrow will want to have Talib today because Talib is doing a lot of work. Barrow will always want somebody that is good to do the work for the people because Ateka told you so. So and Nimbaro Malafi wala ninde dia because nde otala moy hani juma namo lafta minna Cairo dombela flawol. So my team is on the ground and I'm here and my team is working very hard. As of today, we have 56 youth groups. Mini alongo football team on lelum. Don't lafta jasilla, don't lafta katola, don't lafta nge sponsor. Right now, 3 major tournaments more sponsor can. Kitty, my home, I'm sponsoring the tournament there. ñofele fana ndelebe je tournament no sponsor kan Central 2 Bay. Combo Central is divided into Twitter. You are from Birkama, you should know. Central 2. Kiti, Dasilame, Marakisa, Kabekel, Busura, Penyam, Manduar. Now Timo, now Central 2. Sate Tanni Woro Lebije. They are starting a tournament, a league. This year, I am the one sponsoring it. And I go to different places. So we have 56 football teams and youth groups, mini alonko. Right now, they want jerseys, but it's very expensive. Akabom Fowler salary is expensive. We want to encourage people. There are people too. Minu Lafta Ngela, Molu Dolbije. Well, you know, they want to go on campaign, but the resources are not yet enough. Tisa Tolu, Modoem donate about 100 t-shirts. We want 10,000 t-shirts. So if you can get them, if you can commit, we'll be very happy for all of this. We have made up our minds. We are going. I have made up my mind and I'm going into this with very clean heart. Gambia na makwe. So nimol bem sola ebe wala ebe kafulama wala they know people that can help financially, especially. Take this number 613 880
Yeah.
6628.
Okay.
613-880-6628. Woman the phone number this +1.
Okay.
Canada,
Yeah.
Canada and US pay the same line on +1. 613-880-6628. The other number at home is 709, Gambia number 709.
Yeah.
8317. 709-8317. Mohammed Jata is my man. Itolevena campaign kuna Gambia. Alhamdulillah, ngamoto sande for the campaign. I bought my car. At least I bought a car and gave it to them for their mobility. Alhamdulillah. And you know, so that's it. Momorondin lafta kafulama, you know, kafuma. This is beyond politics. That's what I tell people. It's not about UDP. It's not about NPP. It's not about APRC. It's not about, this is about West Coast. We should take the lead now. More serious balia manzakunda yetara sirinjang mol koroptale fembukata birkama marse kasunkanne silol mambedea fulor lebe kering mol be fala silo manda ibe siri what time of bandal sign we need to act too. We must act.
Okay.
It's it.
Sounds good. No, thank you so much, Gitteh. So, guys, whoever wants to support Team Gitteh, Gal Kumandi WhatsApp Ninto. The first number is +1 613 880 Neo Julo Kosi Ibe Gitteh Famale Sotola. But na kita ko ibe Gambia le, you know, after WhatsApp ning fanang kosila 709-8317. I believe womu Africell number leti. New consider ala representative Mumbai Gambia J. So you can offer any support and support mandang financial support run, you know.
Yes.
Support, you know, you support, you provide, make yourself available. Nengal with projects or you know, make yourself available and support what basic, you know. So you can have go or bow monkodos for them you know, different. So anyways, Mr. Gitteh, we've had you for 2.5 hours, and you touched on a lot of important issues, you know, from your candidacy to also the hot topics that are ongoing in the country. We appreciate you. LSTV1 is your platform. Whenever you're ready to come, you know, until I'll call you anyways. You know, you can come. You know, the platform is yours. And guys, if you want to support, you know, the numbers are on the screen. Please reach out and support Team Gitteh as well. Thank you so much for your time, you know, and we really appreciate it. And maybe, you know, say goodbyes to the viewers.
Thank you. Special thanks to all the viewers for sticking with us this long. It's about Gambia, and I'm very grateful to you, Ibsen, because you've created this opportunity for us to share our views and our ideas at a time when Gambians are very sad about the death of almost 70 children, some of whom are the only children of their parents, and some, in fact, all of them, very important. And at a time when we're all mourning, and to get us to onto this platform to have our views shared and discuss important matters, and of course what we think the president should do, I think is important to also give us the opportunity, and to the viewers to also learn about us and what we have in store for West Coast people, and for them to actually make up their minds. And for those that are interested, whether you want to ask me questions, whether you want to join our team, whether you want to add anything, I mean, you can reach out to us. This 613 number is my own number. And we thank you very much for sticking to us. Epsin, thank you so much. You are from Brikama. We want to we want to send away Tonsol. Tonsol siabat aliala. So we want to send away.
The Cornamunda of my world. Hey, what Tonsol? Castilla Lunkin Tejila Kodak. Lundu killing us see someone die Juruman and Kodak. So if you yell at them, if you can't tell me, you can Lundang or Lema. You can tell me. But you know, Brikama is a critical area, because I remember just before Jammebe Bolaje, we also Kachakufale, you know, and that kind of led to Jamme Olana, Wolanda water crisis. You remember, Malo, you must have been very young at the time, but the Gabo Geo Mokana Geos and Famalana Mole, Mokana Geosa, more round Takabo Brikama. Sumakunda mafon tara for SSP mafon koftan and nada nyambaila for area council, and that caused a big riot over there. Zandamorial and people were arrested, and that kind of culminated into Jame Wallana. So it's a lot of issues in Brikama that needs to be handled. And good luck to you on your candidacy. And I hope your party selects you, and then you'll do a good job for the people. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Jubela Allah baraka bake funding modus to Jamumbina on the next interview. Allah baraka bake Allah jiber kunyima. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your weekend and a good week ahead of you. Thank you. Take care of yourself and